I had doubts in my mind leading up to the newest Rise series due to the current direction of Valiant Comics. Based on issue 1, they were justified and are 100% correct. When I learned Valiant Comics was releasing a new 5-part sequel to Rai in 4001 AD, I couldn't have been more excited. Dan Abnett writing the series furthered my belief that this would be a worthy sequel. When I saw this cover from Jonboy Meyers, I was even more eager for the series. But there was always a bit of doubt in my mind. Valiant Comics went from my favorite publisher 12 months ago to just another SJW comic line so fast I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Still, I believed this would be one series they didn't screw to hell. After reading issue 1, I was dead wrong. Valiant's 2014 Rise series is my personal favorite comic story of all times. The creative pairing of writer Matt Kindt and artist Clayton Crane is the best I've ever seen. It tells the story of the 10th Rai, the protectors of New Japan that orbits above a depleted Earth. I describe it as The Matrix meets George Orwell's 1984. If you're a sci-fi fan and haven't read it yet, I couldn't recommend it higher. It's the most beautifully illustrated book I've ever read and cemented Crane's place as my favorite comic book artist. If you have Comixology Unlimited, the first 3 volumes of Rai covering issues 1 through 12 and 4001 AD issues 1 through 4 complete the story of Rai and his rebellion against Father that caused New Japan to fall to Earth. Clayton Crane set the bar in the stratosphere for whoever followed him, and Adam Pollina expectedly falls short. The opening page gives an excellent recap of Rai in 4001 AD. Pollina has a much different style than Crane, and it suits the book. Sometimes. In fact, Pollina uses multiple art styles that make the book feel a bit schizophrenic at times. I honestly wish he'd stuck with this visual style throughout. This is the one time we see Rai in his original design. A big difference is the emotion on Rai's face. I don't think it really fits the character. Rai is half human, half positronic, and hides the emotions he does feel pretty well. Even when he was battling Father, with his life on the line, he never looked this angry. This won't be the last time the creative team show their misunderstanding of the character. But this is cool, and if Pollina stuck with this style, his art would have been much better overall. This opening action scene shows Bloodshot saving New Japan survivors from synthetic dinosaurs from the orbiting colony. This is the low point of the book artistically. Bloodshot looks absolutely ridiculous holding this machine gun in the top panel. His heroic pose in the middle panel looks severely rushed, and it looks like the female positronic in pink was added in post-production. This sequence of Rai kissing Momo, his love interest from the previous book, is really nice. Here you can see the character redesigned very well. He now grows hair, and his trademark Rising Sun logo on his chest is gone. While I think this design is cool, it doesn't make sense, and Rai was already one of the coolest looking heroes in all of comics. I've seen worse redesigns, but Rai absolutely didn't need one. Overall, the art is pretty good, but uneven. Making Rai appear more human is a mistake in my opinion. I rate the artwork in Fallen World number 1, 3 out of 5. While I have some issues with the art, the real failure of Fallen World is the characterization or mischaracterization by writer Dan Abnett. Before I get into the writing, I want to point out the top panel has an odd perspective of Rai's back, and it looks like people are talking to a throw pillow. Moving on. When we meet Rai, he's become the default leader of the surviving humans and their former positronic slaves. Positronics see him as a liberator. Humans blame him for destroying their lives on New Japan. This is a great foundation for an excellent story. But making Rai a lame, passive bureaucrat is a terrible choice. On New Japan, Rai never interacts with anyone until just before the fall. Most people don't even believe he exists because they've never seen him. He's never been a leader in his existence. Why would he be one now? The story would make much more sense and be more impactful if he were a reluctant hero in the vein of Mad Max. If the Positronics worshipped him as their liberator and needed him to lead them to a utopia, where they can finally be free of their human oppressors. Rai assuming leadership is out of character. Why would humans even follow him? He just destroyed their very cushy lives on New Japan, even if they were being lied to and abused by Father. I get Abnett is trying to portray Rai as the bridge between humans and positronics, in the vein of a character he recently wrote. Trying to make Rai Aquaman is downright stupid and a fundamental misunderstanding of the character. Another major issue I have with Rai is he put down his sword. When he was vanquished from New Japan by Father, he discovers a tree that healed his right arm. The tree grows where a great warrior was fallen by Father in battle. That warrior was Ninja K, slain by a positronic version of Livewire that became the tyrannical Father. These events occurred in the Book of Death event. This is 100% my favorite piece of connective tissue in all of the Valiant universe. The blade of Ninja K, slain by Father, eventually healed Rai after his fall to Earth. Rai took the sword to New Japan and used it to destroy Father once and for all. Rai laying down this sword and everything it's meant to the history of the Valiant universe infuriates me. It shows a lack of regard for the amazing work that went into creating it. That's all I've got to say about that. Later in the book, Lula, the human who helped Rai see the light and lead the revolution on New Earth, approaches him. She takes him to the Life Labs to show him her work. She's constructed all kinds of smart machines based on technology of New Japan. Lula was a teen who just graduated high school during the fall of New Japan. How in the hell is she capable of any of this? Did she get her engineering degree while the colony was falling to Earth? Did Rai open a new engineering academy during all the chaos afterwards? This is absolute BS. Lula is plenty resourceful, but has no training or experience to indicate she's capable of any of this. But I forgot, girls love the science. My last issue with the characterization is a bit smaller, but still frustrating. Rai and Gilad, the Eternal Warrior, are moving to investigate a piece of New Japan. Gilad refers to a positronic as a posi kid, to which Rai replies, he's just a kid, no need for the qualifying slur. This is so out of place here. It sticks out like a sore thumb and makes no sense. Gilad was stuck on Earth while Father held the Geomancer on New Japan. He was on the colony, exposed to positronics, for all of a few hours, while he saved the Geomancer and Rai destroyed Father in New Japan. Why would he be using a slur against beings he probably didn't even know existed until recently? Plus, Gilad's sole purpose is to protect the Geomancer. Why would he even care enough about positronics to use a slur against them? This is so forced it's painful. Dan Abnett is a great writer, but he fails miserably understanding Rai and most of its characters. I rate his characterization 1 out of 5. Fortunately, the writing isn't a complete wash. The plot is much better, if still lackluster in my opinion. The story starts with Bloodshot hearing the cries for help from all the survivors of the fall of New Japan. Then we move to the now pacifist, ineffective leader Rai. He's the leader of Santaku Sector, a portion of New Japan that survived re-entry. Rai is having trouble maintaining peace between humans and recently liberated positronics at home. He's also trying to maintain peace with other clans through diplomatic means. Pacifist Rai just doesn't suit the character. But I've already covered that. Moving on. Gilad and the Geomancer are traveling Earth and she's having a difficult time. The Geomancer is connected to Earth, so she feels its pain. I would like to point out just how absolutely stupid her glasses are. I really dislike a lot of the designs Adam Pollina incorporated into this book. Gilad launches a message drone after they discover a major sector of New Japan appears to be under attack. Later, we meet the acolytes of the Church Fallen. They find an artifact they believe opens the gates to heaven on Earth and will reunite them with Father. They've discovered the Raijin made by Father on Earth before New Japan ascended above the Earth. The leader Circadian states the Raijin is the key to the Kingdom of Heaven. Rai arrives to assist Gilad and the Geomancer. They meet a positronic engineer from the Lost Sector. He and the rest of the surviving crew were working here after the fall. He cries as he recounts the horrors of an unnamed assailant who arrived and tore through everyone, killing every survivor in the sector, human and positronic alike. I kind of get the feeling Fallen World isn't really meant to be a Rai story, just an introduction to something new wrapped in the name of Rai. Time will tell. Either way, the plot is better, but still uninspiring. I rate it 2.5 out of 5. I had doubts in my mind leading up to the newest Rise series due to the current direction of Valiant Comics. Based on issue 1, they were justified and are 100% correct. New readers of the character won't have the issues I do and might even think it's really good. I beg to differ. I score Fallen World number 1 a 2 out of 5 overall. I don't recommend this to anyone. If you want to meet the character or already love him, it's best to just go back and read the Matt Kent and Clayton Crane Rise series. It's much higher quality, and Fallen Kingdom has no hope of sniffing its impact long term. I couldn't be more disappointed with this series and writer Dan Abnett. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.